Welcome back to TLT Talks. I am actually coming to you live from upstate New York. Beautiful. The country. Very excited for our show today. We have a very good friend of mine, a platinum partner brother, coming on. He'll be on in just 1 second as soon as he requests, pushes that little magic button to come on. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. Anyways, we have an exciting show for you today. Very informative, I hope. Here we go. And hi, guys. Krista, Scott. How's everybody doing? There he is. What is up, Nick?
What's up, Eugene?
How's everything, man? How you holding up?
Everything is great. Give me 1 second to make this a little louder. All right, we're ready to roll.
Amazing. So I want to give you guys a fair warning. The Wi-Fi is not amazing out here. So we're going to do the best you can with your comments. If it is freezing or if it is stalling or if whatever, be my eyes and ears out there, people. Nick, you too. But welcome to Nick. Tell me, man, how you holding up? COVID's over. How you holding up? How are you doing? What was your experience like? I mean, we're both in New York, but everyone's got a different experience.
I'm holding up. I mean, I chose to stay in New York instead of fleeing the city that we love, like many others. And I'm happy I did. This is what builds our character, right? You know, we've been through 9/11, we've been through economic downturns, Hurricane Sandy, et cetera, et cetera. And this is, you know, it's another thing. Without being insensitive, I felt that people were going to need help here. And I love this city, so I chose to stay.
Amazing.
Certainly interesting to see.
So, ladies and gentlemen, with us today, we have Nick Champagne. Maybe that's his real last name. Maybe that's a stage name. No one knows. He will never tell. This guy's been in the experience of hospitality for 20 plus years. He's the founder and CEO of Status Luxury Group, which is a lifestyle hospitality. He handles lifestyle and hospitality for the affluent and the super high net worth individuals. He creates experiences all over the world. He's been called the voice of luxury. And where I give him, you know, a ton of respect during this downturn, you know, when the whole world shut down rather, he started a capital hospital, little hospitality, and they served, you know, they contributed 3,000 meals. They had over 17,000 pieces of equipment circulated. The guy's just all heart, man. So Nick, welcome. I don't know if you want to share a little bit about your background or a little bit about what you do in your company and, you know, a little bit of an intro first.
Sure. Thank you for the kind words and thank you for having me. My background has been hospitality basically my whole life. My family had restaurants and liquor stores when I was younger that I, you know, quote unquote worked in, basically bopped around and, you know, helped out and learned many things with that. Learned probably most prominently psychology. You know, what people looked for, what made people happy, you know, whether people were buying nicer things or not so nice things, and the reactions from the customer and the person who sold them the item. Learned marketing, branding, all of these different things, and overall entrepreneurship at an early age. And, you know, I've done many things in hospitality, from nightlife to marketing and events to the concierge element, you know, which has pivoted into travel and overall luxury lifestyle. So that's where I am now.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, people, by the way, interactive. If you got comments, you got questions, Chris says she's distributed 10,000 plus meals.
Sorry. Yeah, so you mentioned our hospitality initiative during the pandemic. We're up to 13,000 meals now as of this week. We've been, recently we've been pretty quiet about it, but we've still been distributing meals to both hospitals, to the frontline healthcare workers, and also to the underprivileged in various neighborhoods. We've been doing something weekly in Harlem. We've partnered with somebody up there, just, you know, feeding those who, whether they're affected by the pandemic or not, but they're having trouble feeding themselves and their families. So we've raised some money and we've been providing meals for them over the past, you know, 4 months.
What I love, man. See, I love when competition can. Chris is over here flexing at 10,000, and Nick,
she's killing it. She's been a big help in this whole thing, so it's appreciated.
I love it. I love it. So look, guys, today the reason I wanted to have Nick on, my industry, real estate, it's not about property. It's about service. It's about relationships. It's about people. It's about helping people transition to the next step of their life, whether that's renting a home, buying a home, selling a home, going through investment properties, whatever. And what fills us up more than anything else is helping people with that transition and build wealth through the vehicle of real estate. And our ability to serve sort of shift and morphed over these 3 or 4 months. And Nick's whole life, his whole business is the same, creating experience and service. And I thought it could be kind of cool to talk to someone that's similar outcome but parallel in terms of actual logistics. So Nick, COVID hits. You're in the business of creating experiences, people travel and lifestyle, and all of a sudden the whole world is shut down. That might be hard to do when the world's shut down. So what'd you do? Like, what happened?
I mean, listen, everyone was affected in one way or another, but we were arguably one of the most affected industries, right? Travel basically stops. Um, Hospitality, you can't go to restaurants, you can't go to hotels, you can't have experiences. You're told to stay home and basically be isolated. So our industry was at a standstill. So, what do you do? Do you sit and complain, or do you innovate? One, see who needs help and how you can help. That's one. You touched on the hospitality campaign that we did. That was awesome. And, very proud of that. And we're going to continue with that philanthropic element into my company for the future. Aside from that, there was a lot of strategy for the future. For virtually 3 months, no one was really traveling. There was some business travel, some essential travel. That's about it. But we had many people who, we had clients and members who had milestone birthdays during this time, who we had very big things planned for in different cities, different countries around the world, that just didn't happen. That's what we excel at. So what do? That's all deferred. And we don't know when that's going to happen again. Is it going to happen next month? Is it going to happen this month in July, next month in August, Q4, who knows? But we're planning for that. And also, what are the new norms? It was a lot of strategy and a lot of, I guess, collaboration over competition. So other companies like mine, the best of the best all work together, right? It's like, Eugene, you're in real estate and you co-broke on big sales, right? Big projects, all the time with people you're aligned with. So that was a big part of now during this time. It was collaboration. It was who can we work with together to make the most impact now during this time to help those in need, and also to position us in the future for what's next, the unknowns, the uncertainty.
Right. That sounds great. And so speaking of, I mean, I think it'd be nice to think that we're just going to go back to normal kind of ever. Actually, Nick and I were catching up in preparation for this, and we're like, this whole thing about, outside drinking and eating and whatever, maybe that sticks. So what do you see? What's the new normal look like in hospitality and travel? What do you see as, the next phase?
I see. So to touch on first what you said, the hospitality side of things, including restaurants and dining experiences and things of that nature. Over the past weeks in New York City, we've seen many places. Well, actually, let's go back 2 months. We've seen some of the best restaurants that we provide our clients and members reservations for, which are very difficult. The Carbones of the world and the, Nobus of the world and Cipriani's and Resdora and so on and so on, and the 3-star Michelins, John George, etc. We've seen them go to caviar or their own form of delivery and pickup, which they would never do in the past, right? And that's part of the innovation that I was talking about, reinventing themselves, creating different experiences, one, to survive in business, and two, to give their fans what they want at home. So now the transition, these places, now they have sidewalk dining, they have street dining, they have parking lot dining, depending on the city you're in. Is that here to stay? We don't know, but it's going to stay as long as the pandemic concerns remain, and also as long as the weather permits, right? Like we're in a seasonal city. So, going through the summer, going into the fall, that's fine. Going into the winter, what's going to happen? We don't know yet.
Yeah.
When restaurants start to reopen at 30 to 50% occupancy, how are they going to survive? You know, you've seen this in real estate, I'm sure. How many places have closed their doors? There's many, it was trending this way anyway. Listen, there's restaurants that were going out anyway. And now this pandemic is their excuse to say, oh, we've been in business for 5, 10, 20, 50 years, and it's because of the pandemic. Is it or isn't it? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, they say when you get hit with a sudden challenge, it doesn't create a problem; it exposes one. And so, the restaurant business has kind of been the same for so, especially with the luxury restaurants now delivering and all that stuff. So that, and the restaurant business, is really difficult. Besides the fact that your inventory is perishable, your
Right?
margins,
The margins are small, you know,
yeah.
and especially when you get to the more exclusive restaurants, it's very challenging to make it. You know, if a restaurant makes it a year or two, that's a big feat. The ones that have lasted very long and built brands,
Yeah.
even they're suffering. So, you know, we can talk about problems and we can talk about opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities,
Well, and
you know, that come out of this.
the restaurant in Williamsburg, it's called Oregano. So Reina, shout out, hey Reina, Oregano.
We've actually been there together, if you recall. I was there with you.
Right. So it was really cool. So the doors get shut down, and so she shut down. She doesn't have a liquor license, whatever. And all of a sudden, like she just got, she's going to be on the show. So I don't want to tell the whole story. She's going to be on our show in a couple of weeks. But she got real innovative, and she went from shutting down to she's never been busier in her life because she changed her business model. Starbucks, right? So from the beginning, if you think about how Starbucks was born, it was the in between spot. It was in between work and home. You stop by to sit at a Starbucks to relax, whatever. Starbucks is planning to close something 400 to 500 stores because when they did a survey, they realized, the mission or the purpose of Starbucks has changed, whereas now 70% of people just want to pick up and go. They want to be able to order on their app, just get there, grab their stuff, and just go. And so Starbucks is refining their model, and now they're not going to have, this absorbent amount of rent, right? Because now it's just, oh, so yeah, it's like, we're both Tony Robbins people, and it's like innovate or die, change and progress or die. And so I do think we're going to see lots of shifts in all industry. But what do you see happening specifically in travel, luxury, etc.? Are people traveling again? Are people booking hotels? Are they still nervous? Like what are you seeing in
So I'm happily slammed this weekend and this past week. People are moving again, and that's barring everything that's going on in the media saying this is shut down and that's shut down and re-shut down and the resurgence of this and that. I don't watch the news. I don't pay attention to it. I get my news from sources that I trust, from what's really happening. We can go back to the
news. Can we just kill the news? Like, let's kill the news.
The media is crazy.
The media, like, let's just kill the news. That would be a good. That's a business that should go.
Right. So not to focus on that, people are the people I call the first movers in every group, regardless of the level. In every industry, there's the innovators and there's the influencers and the first movers. And I had conversations with some of my clients 2.5, 3 months ago about what's next, when they're going to go. And people were looking to move as soon as they can. They're more mindful of who they're traveling with, a lot of private travel, almost like quarantine travel, right? They're private jet people that either own their own jets or are chartering more now because fortunately they're capable. They're doing things like private homes and villas that are secluded, that they can travel with their families privately, or even if it's with another family or two that they've been quarantining with during the past few months and they feel that they're safe going to places that are properly cleaned. There's been a lot of yacht movement, which is great. That's a big part of our business, fortunately, as well. But the yachts that can accommodate these excursions, they're operating, and in different cities and countries. So that presents another challenge at the moment. The whole European thing, can't go to Europe, right? For the moment. How long is that going to last? We don't know. People say politics, this and that play a part. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. My thing is there's always a way. If someone wants to go somewhere, they're going to find a way. If they're capable of traveling private and making special arrangements, there's always a way. So we're seeing more and more of that in our world. We're seeing more at-home hosting experiences. We have clients in the Hamptons now that we're organizing things for typically that they would do in restaurants or other places that were bringing those experiences to their homes and they're entertaining themselves.
Right. I hear you. Well, and then that I think we kind of actually, if someone wanted to look, if somebody wants to rent or sell an apartment of their own, they certainly can. But if they want to do it efficiently, effectively, and for the most amount of money, if they're selling or renting, or the least amount of money if they're renting out or buying, they call me, right? What's if someone is interested in using your services, or like what do you offer? What are your services? Like sort of what for those that are watching?
So, initially we mainly work on referral. So members and clients that we've been working with for years who we've done right by and made happy tell their friends, right? But anyone that sees what we do, we're providing the perfect lifestyle. So that's our goal. And that's not just the travel and hospitality and nice things and, Birkin bags and watches, et cetera, but it's also fulfillment. It's also business. It's all of these things. And again, Eugene, we met in the Tony Robbins world and we speak about kind of the wheel of life and being balanced in all areas. I've factored that into my business, especially fulfillment. People work to live and you want to live to work. So, or you want to live to, right. The
Yeah,
opposite of that. But it's the fulfillment that's really important to people, and we're connecting those dots. And all the people we deal with, business is a part of their lifestyle. I ask people that, and my clients and members, they answer very quickly, yes, business is a part of my lifestyle, because everyone has the same 24 hours. They want to do business with people they like. They want to do business with their friends. They want to make people that they're doing business with friends of theirs, travel together, etc. And that's it. The psychology of a perfect lifestyle is what we strive for and what we deliver.
yeah, very cool. You and I were talking about it. I mean, we caught up a lot, and look, of course, we're all sensitive to any of the hard cost, whether it was health or economic. At the same time, it kind of feels like we all needed it. It kind of feels like the whole world needed this like step back, this wake up call, like stop burning up the planet, get off social media, even though we're on social media now. Like it was, for me anyways, my personal life. I mean, man, it did wonders. I lost over 30 pounds. I'm under 200 pounds for the first time in like 15 years. I took a step back in business. And
Amazing.
really trips there. Like I got to spend more time with my wife and my kids and my family. Like it was a really, really, it was a universal pause button in a way. Gave people the ability to take a step back and get a little more, you know, fulfilled or strategic about the future, whatever. So I guess my question to you is, I mean, obviously when travel's on halt, it gives you the space, the bandwidth to get out of the business busy and take a think about where you want to take your company. And also for some of your clients that are, these high net worth entrepreneurs, whatever. I'm wondering if you've seen any patterns, what are you seeing? Are people more, they focus more on fulfillment versus, stuff and just trips, or like what, have you seen anything come out of this in a positive or negative way yourself?
I've definitely seen that. I mean, I'll call it the past 3 months when people were really quarantined and really, stuck in their homes, when they were with their families, I think a lot of people realized what was most important. The people they care about, when people were not able to see their families, their extended families, parents, children, etc., that were in different cities or even different parts of the world, and that's still happening now, how valuable that is. But
Right?
also, you can't go to a store and buy something. So is that really that important? And do you need all the extras? Granted, we all love having nice things. That's fantastic. But it's really, again, that fulfillment and working on your future, working on business, working on that well-balanced lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We have a question from Sarah. Has pricing come down on any of those items? Travel, possessions, etc. Have you seen any price fluctuation? Obviously, the demand is non-existent right now for travel and luxury items and etc. So has the supply gone a little more attractive?
Well, there's a couple different ways to look at that. If you look at luxury goods, a lot of stores were looking to generate revenue and liquidate a bit. So there were a lot of deals, whether you're talking about luxury clothing or things like watches and, uh, you know, things like wines, I would say there was more of a demand for. People are home. They're having dinner parties within their own family. They're experiencing more like that. In terms of travel, private travel, there's more of a demand. So those prices have at least maintained the same and mainly gone up. Um, Hotels, the ones that are open, the good ones have dropped quite a bit. There's steals out there for the ones that are open. The super high end, they're booked. I mean, if you look at places like Aspen this weekend, holiday weekend, pretty slammed. A lot of people went there. Places like Jackson, Wyoming, um, the Amman resorts in Utah and Jackson, they're booked through September and October every night. And that's the top of the top. People feel safe there. People feel that there's a level of cleanliness and service there that is extremely high. So the demand is very high for that. So it's mixed across the board.
Yeah, I've got a couple of friends that own liquor stores. One of them does import export, and like they did really well. A couple other own stores. I mean, and, people in the liquor industry in general have done very well.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, I'm like, I don't understand why alcohol is essential, and there's a whole backstory behind that. If you guys want to Google it, but it had to do with out there with an alcohol dependency. That if you just cut off alcohol, the emergency room might get full of people with withdrawal. Which when I heard that, I was like, wow, I would never in a million years have guessed that. And that was one of the main
That's an interesting point. I didn't hear that, but that does make sense. And the whole...
If you're one of the hotels that's not full, and there are other hotels out there that are full, man, what an interesting opportunity to ask yourself, well, how come they're full and I'm not? Right?
Right. It's interesting you bring that up. I had a call yesterday. So actually, I'll go back a little bit. You mentioned what's next for my company. Before the pandemic, I was aligning a lot of things, again, going back to personal and business development, which we've done together, seeing what's really important, seeing what's next, taking an inventory of the past years and where the trends are going in the future. So I was realigning and rebuilding anyway. Now factoring in everything that's going on during and post-pandemic, I'm factoring in new things. So I'm bringing on an advisory board. I'm bringing on investors. I'm bringing on, top talent staff that's aligned for my future, our future, the future of our members and clients, what the next 10, 20, 30 years look like. And one of the conversations yesterday was about exactly what you said, finding these destinations, these hotels that are open and doing something, buying out a hotel of, it could be a boutique hotel of 20 or 30 rooms, or it could be a bigger hotel, and using social distancing and operating in a safe manner and a smart manner and testing people before they go there to be safe, but doing experiences like that in the coming months. So we're planning that for the rest of the summer, the end of the fall, or the end of the year. A friend of mine is doing this event in the Hamptons later this month. That's a drive-in event. It's a drive-in concert. So they have a large piece of land. They have top talent in music, and they have, you drive there, you get your plot, and you stay within your plotted area, parking space, basically, for this festival experience. It's really interesting. I mean, and that's gaining more and more popularity. A lot of people that are in the music and experience concert world, they're hurting. Sporting events are questionable. What's next? And this is something that's happening at the end of the month. I think it's really cool, and that's really innovation in marketing for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, buddy. In June of 2021 will be my 10-year anniversary, and my intention, my dream, my goal, and you know how I am about those things. Those things, I make that shit happen.
That's it. You write it down, you say it, you visualize it, and it happens.
That's it. I want a second wedding with the missus. I want a private island. I want a big destination, whatever. So let me know what you come up with.
Eugene, my biggest specialty and what I love to do is I tell people and I tell clients and members this all the time, give me a budget, a range that you're comfortable with, and a blank piece of paper, and we'll blow your mind. And we do every time. So, and then I have, we have some clients that are very, very wealthy, right? That say, oh, there's no budget. There's always a budget. Doesn't matter how many hundreds of millions you have or billions that you have. There's always a comfort level in the budget. So work with us. Tell us, is it something that's 50 grand, 250 grand, 2 million, whatever? And we'll go from there. It's like when someone comes to you and they want to buy an apartment and they give you a range, you need that range, regardless of how much money they have. Is it 1 to 2 million? Is it 5 to 10 million? Is it 20 to 30 million? Right? And go from there, and you see what's available, and then you curate it.
For me, you will be hearing from me. I will shoot you a text.
I can't wait, brother. We'll have fun with that.
It's almost 12:30. I want to get you to I know you got things to do. Any final thoughts, any tips, thoughts, anything you want to share with our community, your community that might be watching?
I mean, big focus on fulfillment psychology, especially getting through this pandemic, the experiences that are to come, the dining, the travel, the even being with your family. Identify what's important to you and create experiences for the future. Plan for what's next. Even with travel now, there's a lot of flexibility. We can plan things. There's flexible travel. Hotels understand what's going on. Airlines understand what's going on. It's a great time to create what's next for the rest of the year and beyond.
Cool. Nick, thank you for your insights, for your expertise, for your wisdom. It's a pleasure, my friend.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me, Eugene.
Be well,
Enjoy your beautiful weekend in New York.
And you too. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining.